Session fixation attack, as you see here in web codes. That type of attack that occurs and happens whenever you try to steal someone's session IDs while they are logged in some websites. For example, in this tutorial in web codes, you are explaining the scenario when, for example, suppose you are logged in your let's say facebook.com, and suppose that when you want to revisit some page on Facebook, like your profile page or the home page, you don't need to reauthorize or to re-log in to your account. That's because the Facebook is using your session ID for the authentication or authorization purposes. So you don't have like to re-log in every time you need to access a web page on facebook.com. So on some vulnerable web servers, okay, we can let the victim access a link on the vulnerable web server and choose a session ID, okay, so they will be authenticated based on the session ID that we are gonna choose. For example, in this example here, suppose that the victim Jane receives an email from someone who's supposedly be an administrator, but he's not, to like email relating to some issue about incorrect account details and blah blah blah. As you can see in the email here, please use the following link to verify your account data. So the plot here is the attacker is trying, or we're trying to steal the session ID of Jane while she is logged in say for example in OWASP.org. Okay, so while she is logged in OWASP.org, she doesn't have to re-authenticate or to re-log in while she is logged in the OWASP.org. So to force her user ID or the session ID to be changed to our chosen session ID, so that we can steal her session and log into her account without the need to log in or without the need for stealing her password. So we constructed a URL, as you can see here, and included a session and a session ID and SID. For example, you can change the session ID in here. For example, say 1000, okay, whatever you can put in here, okay. So and send, you can either send this URL to your victim, or you can send this as an email if you don't know the victim well. So once the victim clicks on the URL here, their session ID will be changed and they will be forced to re-log in to the web application. So they're gonna log in to the web application, and the session ID will be changed to this session ID that we previously have typed in here. Okay, so all is left is to revisit the URL as an attacker, and we will be authenticated against, or will be authenticated and logged in the web application, and we will have, or we will own the session of Jane. So let's try this out. So here we will play the hacker, okay, and suppose that Jane is sitting on her computer, and out of the blue she received an email from you that she needs to update her account details. Okay, so we click on send email. Okay, now we are playing the victim here. Okay, now I am the victim. I received an email from someone. I believe that he is an administrator, but in reality he is not, and he is using social engineering attack or phishing attack to trick me into clicking on Go Hills Financial. So as I am the victim, and I believe that this email is originally or has been sent by the administrator, I'm gonna click on the link and update my account details on Goat Hills Financial, which is corporate website. So once I click on the email, see here, now I have to re-log in to my web application or re-log into the Goat Hills Financial. Why? Because my session ID has been changed to the attacker's chosen session ID. So here I'm gonna click on Jane. Click Jane. The password is here. Clicking on login. Okay. Now, as the victim is, or once the victim is logged in into his account, now he is using the session ID that I have typed in the crafted URL in the previous email. Now, as I am an attacker in here and I am playing the attacker here, okay, all left to do is to steal the session ID of Jane and access her account is to click on the same link which I have constructed or crafted before while sending the email. So the link is here. Okay, now as you can see here, I'm required to enter the account username and password for Jane. Now since I changed the session ID of Jane's account into mine, I'm gonna just have to like change this, as you can see, the SID to my previously chosen session ID and refresh the link, and we are in. That's basically session fixation attack. Now session fixation attack is or can be avoided, okay, by choosing randomly generated session IDs, and those session IDs are generated randomly and consistently by the server. And whenever you try, or whenever someone else try to change the session ID of yours in a URL, this will get assessed or filtered against the server. Okay, so that's it.